So my family and I recently stayed in Waikiki. And as we're walking around, it got me thinking about the differences in the way that locals stay in Waikiki versus the way that tourists stay in Waikiki, because there is a difference. And so I wanted to share some of the ways that I think we locals do Waikiki versus how tourists do it, from the way that we pack to what we eat to the things that we do. And it's not necessarily that we do it better, that we have some secret insight that tourists don't have, but we just do it differently because we have access, primarily here on Oahu, to Waikiki. I mean, for us, anytime I let go, it's like 10 minutes away. All right, so first let's talk about packing, because locals do pack differently for a staycation than tourists. I mean, we're local here, right? We don't have to bring everything. And because we already live in Hawaii, we already have stuff for water activities. We don't have to go to ABC store and buy those inflatable donuts or buy those pool noodles. We probably already got them. And for our family, we got your typical Hawaii stuff. We got the boogie boards, we got life jackets, we got the tents, we got the fold-out chairs. It's also great knowing that we're just basically 10 minutes away, that if we ever needed anything, we could just come home and pick it up, or better yet, we could just go stop off to either Target or Walmart and just pick up whatever we need. And so for our recent trip, we just needed 2 pieces of luggage, one normal size check-in bag and one basically carry-on suitcase. It was for me, my wife, and my 2 young sons. So we didn't really need too much stuff, but you know, when you got little kids, you gotta bring plenty of stuff. Now, speaking of luggage, I do wanna thank Level 8 for sending me out the Voyageur set of luggages. I absolutely love these. We got the 26 and the 20-inch set. They're both black and gold. The luggage is pretty good quality. It can definitely handle a couple of bangs, especially some of those Waikiki sidewalks. This is not a luggage review channel, but let me just say that I absolutely love this. Got the 4 spinny wheels on the bottom, zipper compartment, which is really great. It's split down the middle, so you have 2 sides. But the real reason why that I like this luggage and I wanted to give it a try was because of the handlebar design. Because when I saw it, I thought absolutely brilliant. So most luggages have that middle column, or like spine, I guess you'd call it. But this one, the way that they designed it is the button's in the middle and it goes from the outside. I don't think I've ever seen a luggage that has this design. You know, if you're like me and when you're traveling, you're holding the especially the carry-on, but even like the regular size luggages, and it has that middle column right down the middle of the spine. It's hard to turn sometimes, especially when it's a 4-wheel. And this solved that problem. By having the wider grip, I didn't have to worry about like my wrist breaking down, that it's a lot more solid when I want to pull it. It also meant that my son could actually handle this because the bars were wide enough, which thank goodness. I'll cut to a clip of that. We also used this luggage to block our room safe from our youngest son because he liked pushing the buttons. So this could also block your safe in your hotel room if that's what you need to do. So again, thank you and mahalo to Level 8 for sending this to me. Is this review biased? Absolutely, because they sent it to me and I didn't have to pay for it. I have no affiliate links, or I didn't set that up. I just really like this design, and when I see a good design and I see it executed really well, I have no problem sharing that, because I think it just made it a lot easier for us to travel. And again, I'm talking about Waikiki here, where sometimes you'll be on the sidewalks and twisting and turning. In the future, whenever we travel, I'll be bringing this because the handlebar just makes it a lot easier to just turn it and swivel it, and you don't have to worry about it. So if you're interested in this luggage, again, it's the Voyageur set with the wide handlebars. You might want to check for when these things are actually on sale. That's probably when I would purchase them. Again, they sent it to me for free, but I really do appreciate them for sending it all the way out here to Hawaii, because I know the shipping is far, so thank you very much to them. So I just want to mention a couple things that we brought that I don't know if other local people bring when they go staycation, but for us, these are huge. And it's kind of hard because when you're at home, you just kind of take it for granted that you always have these things. So a couple things that we brought that were huge: paper towels, because you know that when you go to a hotel room, there's no like napkins or paper towels. So for us, it was nice to have extra paper towels, especially when we got little kids, as well as trash bags. One, we could use them for our dirty clothes as a family, so we didn't just pile them. But more importantly, I think, to put trash in, because if you know anything about staying in Waikiki hotels, or probably hotels in general, the trash cans are extremely small. I mean, you put a couple of plate lunch containers in there and the thing's pretty much already full. So by having an extra trash bag, you can put all your big trash there, and then you can either leave it out for the housekeeping to come pick it up or just keep it there for your entire trip, and then you have a nice clean room. We also packed a lot of snacks, mochi crunch, and of course royal cream crackers from Diamond Bakery, one of my favorites. I know a lot of locals also pack ice chests so they can bring drinks and things. We didn't pack ice chests this time, but in the past we have. We also don't have the big wagon, which you'll see a lot of locals have, the huge wagon, you know, one I'm talking about, you can buy from Costco or Sam's, with the huge wheels, and you put the kid in and you put all the stuff. I'm just not a huge fan of the big wagon. One, we don't have enough storage space to keep it here as well as in our car trunk. It just would be too tight. But secondly, I think it somewhat limits what we can bring, so we're not overpacking stuff. And maybe in the years to come, that might be something that we look into buying. But for now, we've been able to make it by holding things and attaching things to strollers, and that's worked out fine. So as locals, it's nice knowing that we can pack light, and if we need anything, we can either go to the store or we can just go home and pick it up. The second thing I noticed about locals in Waikiki is that we eat differently than a lot of the tourists. And of course, locals love to eat food, right? And going to Waikiki means that because most rooms don't have kitchens, you'll primarily be eating out, which I'm sure the people who cook, like my wife, absolutely love. I mean, we're eating out pretty much every single meal, and that's just part of the Waikiki experience. It's also interesting to see where locals eat versus where tourists eat, considering the accessibility of some of these restaurants. For a lot of mainland tourists, when they come here, is it just me, or I notice they like to go to places like Cheesecake Factory or California Pizza Kitchen or Denny's, and I'm not really sure why, because you're coming to Hawaii and you're gonna eat at a restaurant you could probably eat at, and I know that these are not in every location across the US, but you have a lot more accessibility to these restaurants, and yet they fly all the way here and that's where they want to eat. Now I know that we love Cheesecake Factory too, but that's because it's sort of novel for us. I mean, there's one I think out in Kapolei, but it's pretty far from town, so Waikiki is the closest location for us. But nowadays it's kind of hard because we can't be waiting around 1.5 to 2 hours to eat when, you know, we got little kids, so we gotta go look somewhere else. So on our recent trip to Waikiki, we ate some interesting places. Surutontan, a udon restaurant, the breakfast buffet at the Haleiko Hotel, lunch at the hotel, takeout pizza for dinner, Lappert's ice cream, and Hawaiian Aroma Cafe for breakfast. Again, I got 2 kids, so my eating habits are probably different from a lot of other people, but that's where we decided to eat. The cost of food though in Waikiki is pretty expensive. It's a good reminder for us locals how expensive it is to actually vacation in Hawaii, or how expensive it can be. Because of the small fridges, you're not really gonna be bringing a lot of food to the hotels to eat throughout your stay. So you're gonna be going out to eat, and you figure it'll be about $20 minimum per person, and then you gotta throw a tip onto that. It can get pretty expensive. You know, it's not like $1.50 soda and hot dog at Costco, you know what I mean? Fortunately, we budgeted for that, but my auntie ended up covering a lot of the meals for us. You know, I told her, auntie, no need, no need, no need. But of course, you know, she wanted to, and so, you know, we said thank you, and we really appreciate that. Hey, but you know what? We gonna get her next time. And the last thing I noticed, besides what locals pack and also what we eat, is what we tend to do in Waikiki. Again, what does one do when you have easy access to Waikiki? Like, we could go anytime we want. I mean, there is some unique things that only Waikiki has, particularly if you're interested in the nightlife. But, you know, for us, family of 4, yeah, not really our thing. There's also the zoo, which is great, but we can go to the zoo anytime. We don't necessarily have to stay in Waikiki. And most of the shopping is just not for us. It's geared more towards that luxury brand shopper. I mean, really the only time that we step into any of these stores to seriously look around is when we gotta get our rings cleaned, and that's about it. This is just a local's perspective on the beaches in Waikiki, but the beaches are, to me, they're not very good. I mean, they're passable and they're very accessible if you're staying in Waikiki, but I mean, we have access to all the beaches all the time. And so for me, when I look at Waikiki Beach, it's nice, and I'm glad the tourists enjoy it and have a good time, but that's not really something I'm looking to do because we can go beach any weekend. In fact, I actually prefer Ala Moana Beach Park and Magic Island just because it's better protected and it's more of a locals beach. Instead, what I did not expect was the pool. And maybe if you're a parent, you already knew this, but man, kids love the pool. You know, and I find it kind of, again, ironic where you fly all the way to Hawaii and your kid just hangs out at the pool and then you go home. And that's the most memorable part that they loved, and that's okay. And I noticed that this time around, my son really loved the pool, and so we spent some time there and he just absolutely loved it. Now, speaking as a dad, I gotta admit, I do enjoy staying in Waikiki for a couple reasons. They're small, but they're important to me. The first is air condition. Now, maybe you had AC growing up, but I never had AC in Kaneohe. We had fans and open the window and hopefully the breeze comes in. So it was hot. I mean, it rains a lot on that side, but you know, it can get pretty hot in some of those days. So to have AC and I can run full blast and not have to worry about the electricity bill, oh, it's so nice. You can just set it to like in the 60s and oh, feels so good. I remember when I was younger, we would travel for golf and we'd go to neighbor islands and stay in the hotels. First thing we would do, boom, full blast the AC. Oh, just lie down on the bed and just feel that nice cold air. The second thing I really enjoyed was the hot showers. Now, I don't know if it's our water heater or what, but for some reason, we don't have a lot of hot water. So as people take shower throughout the day, or my wife takes a hot shower, by the time it's my turn, it's like cold water. But whenever I do staycation or go to a hotel, I try to take as many hot showers as I can because it feels so good. I don't have to worry about what time of the day it is. I can just go in there and take a nice hot shower and oh, it feels so good. But what I really enjoy about these staycations in Waikiki is my family time. Just spending time together as a family. Playing the tourist for once allows me to separate work from my family life and just focus on relaxing and just focus on really on them. On one of the mornings we ate breakfast at the Halekoa Hotel and it was all of us, like all 14 of us were there and we were just eating breakfast. And one of the servers, you know, he came up to us and he's like, you know what? It's really great that you guys all eat together. You know, a lot of families, they don't spend time together or a lot of families just don't get the opportunity to be there. But there we were, all 14 of us just eating breakfast and, you know, talking story and hanging out and building those memories with each other. And for me, it's really great to see my boys hang out with some of the other younger kids, you know, just that brings me back to when I was growing up and I would spend time with my cousins. We all just hung out and we just did stuff together. So yeah, the food is nice, the activities are nice, of course the AC and the hot showers are nice, but it's really those family memories that make it worth it. And so if you're staying in Waikiki, I hope that you get the opportunity, whether you're local or you're a visitor, I hope you get the opportunity to build some of those memories. And luckily for us, because we can frequent Waikiki so often, those memories will be sticking in our minds. Like the time that we were at Lapper's and the line was so long that when they gave us our ice cream, we finished it before we actually paid for it. And so we just had to tell them, oh yeah, we got 2 scoops, but we already ate it. Or the time that we walked all the way from Halekoa to Teddy's Burger, all the way on the opposite side of Waikiki, just because we wanted to eat burgers and fries. Or the time that we went to Cheesecake Factory and my wife had to feed my son, but the only place to feed him was in the back of the restaurant, so we had to go in the back. And when he was back there, he had a diaper explosion and we had to change the diaper there, and oh man, it was such a mess. All good memories, and so glad that we were able to do it here in Waikiki. So thanks for watching and aloha.